Greetings, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to my new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast series. We have been overwhelmed with the responses that people have shared from listening to these messages on my SiriusXM show over the years. Those listeners, and they're sharing my show with their network, telling people about it, telling their family members, their friends, and their coworkers about this show and the impact it's having on their lives. That's the main reason that this show is now #1 for self-help in America, and I'm very grateful. Yet, we realize that many people do not have satellite radio and therefore could not experience for themselves the message. They could not get it for themselves. So we are now sharing these messages with everyone via this new podcast. Enjoy it and share it with your network. And let's help even more people to do more, be more, and achieve more. Tell everybody so that they can live a Wealthy Ways life as well. Welcome to the new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. And remember, your best is yet to come.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
You know, I love that. Yeah, it only takes a minute. Only takes a minute to change your life. Wow. Hello, everybody. This is Willie Jolley. You know, I start the same way every week. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. Greetings to everybody across America. How are you? I hope you're wonderful, and I hope you're living an incredible life. If you're not, just hold on, keep believing, keep listening, because we're going to help you to live an incredible, fantastic, blessed life. Well, this is Willie Jolley. You know, I take a moment to begin every show by saying I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and I give God glory for another opportunity, not just to be on the air, not just to give a message, not just to give a speech or have a book or do television or do radio or to travel wherever I might go, but I'm blessed to have another day. Another day where I'm still here in the land of the living. No matter what the challenges and the circumstances, the situations, problems, you're still here, folks. You got something to be excited about. In spite of the problems, you're still here, and you have an opportunity to turn it around. You have an opportunity to change things, and you have an opportunity, even with the dreary and direst diagnoses, that you can still come out of this a winner. Stories have been told of people who were given 6 months and lived for 26 years. So I just want to say you're still here, and I'm grateful for being here and giving God the glory for everything, every day, every opportunity. Well, I want to thank you all who continue to send me notes. Please, I want you all to send me notes. Send me notes, send me emails, send me Facebook messages, LinkedIn messages. Just get to me and let me know, that you're liking this. We're doing some new and big things with this show, and I wanted to make sure we give you a show that speaks to your needs and helps you to grow. So if you've got success stories, you've got testimonials, go to my website. We even have a place on my website where you can give a vocal testimonial just to speak it into a thing called SpeakPipe. And you can just say, hey, Willie, I loved the show today and it was good. Whatever, we want to get your ideas as well as any information or thoughts or people you might want us to share. Also, one other thing, we now have an affiliate program on the website for people who say, you know what, I've got an organization or a group who need to have you come speak, and we will give you $500 for leads that turn into booking. So as well as give you a percentage on anything you might have on your website that sells in terms of books and products. So we want to help everybody to make more money. And let me tell you, the guy I've got today is one of those people who helps people make more money, have greater success, do more, be more, and achieve more. We are old friends. We have been friends, I guess, about 20 years. When I started speaking, I would see his name, and one day we actually did an event together, and I was wowed by his message. And over the years, we've crossed paths where we've done big network marketing rallies and events where they'll say he was here last week or he was here the day before, and he wowed them. And I know I had to come with my best stuff because he's fantastic. Also, he is a best-selling author. His books have been on the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Business Week, and have been translated into over 20 languages and have in multiple printings. He speaks around the world, is a well-known speaker in the speaking industry, and he has a philosophy that helps people to have greater success. So I'm honored to have him on the show today, the one and only Bob Burg. Bob, are you there?
Hey, Willie, I am. How are you?
Man, I'm incredible. Thank you for being on, and I'm so glad we're finally able to hook this up.
I know, really.
You know, Bob and I did a thing some months ago, a chamber event down in Jacksonville, and it was fantastic. And I said to him that day, I said, you know, is there any way I can get you on the show? He said, look, let's work on it. So we finally were able to get it together, and I thank you for it. Well, I gave them the quick thumbnail sketch of who Bob Burg is or some of his accomplishments. Why don't you tell us a little more about, you know, the background, who Bob Burg is, where he came from?
Well, really just, I'm very, very blessed to be the product of a great marriage, my mom and dad, and to this day I live just 5 miles from them now here in South Florida, grew up in Massachusetts. I always say grew up in Massachusetts, got down here as fast as I could, though. I love the warm weather.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and had a great example with two very loving parents, and so very blessed in that way. I began my professional career as a broadcaster. I started out in radio, sports, and then television news. I was probably about the worst broadcaster you've ever seen. I was 23 years old. I had no idea of the news. I could read the news, but I had no idea of what was news, and really, I didn't care. And so that doesn't make for a very good combination. Plus, Willie, I think I was a little bit too positive for the medium, just kind of naturally. My idea of a good news, I was a late-night newscaster, and my idea of a good newscast opening would have been to say, good evening, everyone, I'm Bob Burg, and the news tonight, everything's great. Go to bed. We'll let you know if something comes up. And, of course, that didn't go over too well. So I soon found myself graduating into sales and realized that while I intuitively knew that sales was about providing value to others, I had no idea how to do it. So I eventually got hold of books by people back then as Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins and started studying it and learning it and it just totally, what's the right word? Devouring that information. And in a very, very quick period of time, my sales began to go through the roof. And it said to me that if you have a system, you can pretty much do what you set out to do. And I define a system as simply the process of predictably achieving a goal based on a logical and specific set of how-to principles. In other words, the key being predictability. If it's been proven that by doing A, you'll get the desired result of B, then you know that all you need to do is A and do A consistently, and you're going to have the result you desire, the B.
Okay, let's make sure I got that. A system is the process of
predictably achieving a goal based on a logical and specific set of how-to principles. In other words, if someone's already done it and they They have a system for doing it. All you need to do is plug into the system, and you can pretty much do the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's fantastic. So, folks, I hope y'all got that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted Bob Burg on here, because a system, if you get a system, and look, a system will work with losing weight. A system will work with getting over, quitting smoking. A system will work with making more money, right, Bob?
Exactly. It's one of the things I love about what you do, and people who, and by the way, it was really funny when you said about how we passed each other a lot in doing programs where someone would say Bob Burg was here. Willie Jolley had to be the person whose name I most would hear had just been at this event. And it was Willie, he did a great job. And so it was always funny. So you and I, we've gotten to share the platform a few times, but not as often as I would have liked, but I think we passed like ships in the night.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad we got that event recently, and we were able to reconnect, because I'm telling you, wowed him down there in Florida, and I said, I got to have him on this show. So let's talk about some of these systems, because you've helped a lot of companies to grow and to make more money. So let's talk. First thing I want to talk about, you and I believe in a system called the free enterprise system. Okay, we believe that this is a time and a place where we should be focused on free enterprise. Let's talk about that. Let's define what free enterprise is for folks who might not know, and then why it's important to create wealth in America.
Well, free enterprise or free market capitalism basically simply means that people are able to trade freely with one another. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It means that government's place is simply to provide an environment where people are free to buy, sell, and trade with one another freely. What's happened, unfortunately, is the word capitalism has gotten confused with corporatism or cronyism, where either huge companies or industries or special interests have gotten together and they've bought and paid for special favors through lobbyists. So the Congress people put together these special rules and regulations, and that's what creates the unfair playing field. If government gets out of the way and simply provides the environment where people are free to trade with one another, then boom, abundance happens. It's happened everywhere it's been tried, and socialism, which is just the opposite of that, works nowhere. It creates poverty. It creates, a very, very, very tiny percentage of very wealthy people and a massive poverty. What capitalism, free market capitalism, does is it increases abundance for everyone. So even the poor in a free society is much better off than the poor in a less free society.
Absolutely. And folks, we're not talking about any political party. We're just talking about a system. We're talking about a mindset. My friend Mike Roberts, who many of you, if you're long-time listeners, who's the billionaire out of St. Louis, who've been on the show, said, I'm a capitalist. I grew up in the ghetto of St. Louis, and parents who were a postman and a housekeeper, a domestic worker. He said, but I become a billionaire because of this entrepreneurial capitalist system that is not a bad system if you allow it to work in the free way that it was designed to work, where everybody can trade ideas. You got a great idea, you sell it. You've got a good product, you sell it. People trade money for that product or service, and you start to make money, and everybody prospers. And as Rick Edelman said last week, for those who are listening, or recently in one of our interviews, Rick Edelman said, in America, everybody has the opportunity and possibility to become wealthy. You've got to make some good choices and have some good thinking. And that's what we want to, why we bring someone like a Bob Burg to help you change your thinking. We're going to come right back, because he's going to share with you the 5 laws of stratospheric success, not just regular success, stratospheric success. So don't you leave. You, in fact, get on the phone, call Lottie Dottie and everybody. Tell them to turn on the Willie Jolley Show here on Sirius XM Channel 141. And for sure, the best is yet to come. And call me.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and if you're enjoying this information you're hearing on this podcast, I want to invite you to get even more great information on my new free gift page on my website. Go to wjspeaks.com and hit the All Access badge. On that page, you will find information and resources specifically designed to help you to have greater success. Free ebooks, music, all sorts of interesting and informational interviews for my XM show. I'm telling you, this is a great page. And why do I do it? Because I've learned that the more we give, the more we get. And the more we help other people to grow and go to the next level, the more we receive in our business. So we want to help you. Tell your friends about it. Go to Facebook and get my information. Go to my website, get my free resources, and get on wjspeaks.com and hit that All Access badge. It looks like a backstage pass. Click it. You'll get behind the scenes information to the special page to help you grow. All we want in return, all we ask is that you pass it on, because the more you give, the more you get. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
Motivated, highly motivated. Motivated, gonna take it to the top. Motivated, highly motivated. Motivated, I'm never gonna stop. I had a job I really hated. It made me sick, but it got me motivated. I knew that this was not where I was meant to be. I didn't want to stay, but I was too afraid to leave. Then one day I got my check, there was almost nothing there. I went to the boss, he laughed and said he didn't care. My kids were at home hungry, I was about to lose my home. That's when I decided I had to make it on my own. Said I, gonna take it to the top. I said oh yeah, said I'm never gonna stop. My friends said I was crazy when I told them all goodbye. But the only one who's crazy is the one who's afraid to try. They said I'd never make it, said I would not survive. But I knew I had to make it, it was either do or die. So I grabbed hold of my dream and I put it in my heart. I stepped out on my faith and learned to really trust in God. Knew I had to fight with all my power. The things that happened and blessings came hour after hour.
And we're back. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that song from my Money Making Music and Motivation CD. You can get that on my website, or you can get it on iTunes. You can get it on any of the major digital download sites. And we want you to get that music, get it inspiring in your life, get it in your family's head, get that music. It'll help you tap your toes, yeah, but it'll help you to grow. And that's what we want you to do. Grow your success, grow your future, grow your finances. Also, for those of you who really like these interviews and you got people who don't have Sirius XM, but you want others to have it, we now offer the interviews that I've been doing over the last 5 years. We offer them in sets and packages so that you can get this to your people, because we want people to grow. We want them to have greater success. And we've got the best and the brightest thought leaders in the world who come this way. Well, today's is another example of one of the great thought leaders. He's the author of the book, the best-selling book, by the way, Endless Referrals, and the new successful business parable. Well, it's not brand new because it's been on the bestsellers list for a couple of years now. The Go Giver. That's right, The Go Giver. And it's an incredible parable that talks about success. He's been on the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list, Business Week bestsellers list. Book's been in all over the world and in over 21 languages. He travels around the world. He is a philanthropist as well as a entrepreneur. He serves on the board of a number of youth and animal, as well as community groups as their board. And he's just a guy guy who makes it happen, who speaks around the world, the one and only Bob Burg. Bob, thank you for being on with me, brother.
Oh, Willie, what an honor. So great to be on with you.
Well, thank you. Well, you talked about the system and how you got to create a system, and that's what you've been teaching people in these big rallies where you go around, how to get a success system. And one of the things that I really was looking forward to having on is the 5 Laws of Stratospheric Success and how to apply them. So let's go right into them. By the way, folks, real quick, Bob, where can people reach you and go get information about you?
My website is burg.com, and that's spelled B-U-R-G. So it's burg.com, and while they're there, they can download Chapter 1 of several of my books, including the one you just mentioned, The Go-Giver.
Okay, great. Well, let's go with it. I'm gonna let it have it. You go at it.
Well, there are 5 laws in the book, in the story, and The Go-Giver is a story. It's what's called a business parable or a business fable. And the law number 1 is the law of value. And the law of value, Willie, simply says that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Now, this sounds a bit counterintuitive because I can see where somebody might say, what? Wait a second. Give more in value than you take in payment. Isn't that a recipe for bankruptcy? I mean, how are you supposed to survive in business, never mind thrive? Well, to understand this, we simply need to understand the difference between price and value. Price is a dollar amount. It's a dollar figure. It's finite. It is what it is. Value, on the other hand, is the relative worth or desirability of a thing to the end user. In other words, what is it about this thing, this product, this service, this concept, this opportunity, this idea that brings with it so much worth, so much value, that someone will willingly exchange their money for this value and be ecstatic that they did while you make a healthy profit? Very quick example. Let's say you hire an accountant to do your taxes, and this accountant charges you, and we're going to just name a round figure, easy to work with, charges you $1,000. That's his fee or his price. Well, that's fine, but he saves you $5,000. He saves you 30 hours of time. He provides you with the security and peace of mind of knowing it was done correctly. So we see that value can be both concrete in the saving of the $5,000. It can be conceptual in terms of time and in terms of peace of mind, which is priceless. So what he's done is he's given you well over $5,000 in value in exchange for a price of $1,000. So you feel great about it because you got a lot more in value than what you paid, and he made a very healthy profit, which he should. And that's the kind of relationship we want to have with anyone with whom we do business. We provide such an immense buying experience and value compared to the price we're charging, while we make a very, very good profit. The only way to do this, especially in a free market-based system, is by pleasing that other person, giving them something that they want. And to do that, we need to shift our focus from ourselves to them. See, what happens is this. Money is an echo of value. Money is an echo of value. It's the thunder to value's lightning, which simply means that when you focus on the value you're providing, that person understands this, they feel good about it, they feel good about you, they come to trust your judgment, and they're much more likely to exchange their money for your product or service. On the other hand, if they can tell you're focused on the money, if they can tell that you see them as simply a commission check, they're much less likely to have that confidence in you, and the chances are the exchange is not going to happen.
Absolutely. And we've heard it said for so many years by our dear friend Zig Ziglar, if you help enough other people get what they want, you get everything you want. So you give more first, and then you'll get in return, and you'll start to see that your profitability and your prosperity start to go up because you got a mindset to help others to reach their goals. And in doing so, people will say, well, we will compensate you well for what you've helped us achieve.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Fantastic. That's number 1. What's next?
Law number 2 is the law of compensation. Now, the law of compensation says your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So where law number 1 says to provide more in value than you take in payment, law number 2 tells us that the more people whose lives we add that kind of exceptional value to, the more money with which will be rewarded. Like your accountant in the first example, you feel great about him, you'd do business with him again, you'd refer him to others, and his other clients feel the same way. So our accountant is very quickly amassing an army of personal walking ambassadors. And as he continues to add that kind of exceptional value to the lives of more and more people, Willie, his income will continue to grow and grow. So where law number 1 is all about your potential income, it's not enough to just provide great value to one person. You also have to reach out and touch the lives of many people. We can say exceptional value plus significant reach equals very high compensation. This is one reason why referrals are so important, because they help you get more people in front of you who are already predisposed to want to benefit from your value. It also means that when you're presenting, you can focus less on price and more on value. Low price is a race to the bottom. Nobody wins. And even when you make a sale based on having the lowest price, that person's only going to stay with you until someone else comes along with an even lower price. And sometimes when you make a sale based on low price, you don't have enough profit built in to be able to take care of the person. And here's the thing. When you sell on value, you feel better about yourself and your customer feels better about you, which is why I like to say that when you sell on price, you're a commodity. When you sell on value, you're a resource.
I love that. Wow. When you sell on price, you're a commodity. Absolutely.
Yeah, when you sell on value, you're a resource.
I love that, man. That's good stuff, folks. You get me that? You hear that? That's good stuff. And then everybody, one other thing. Let's take a moment right there. Talk about selling. Before we go to the next, everybody got to sell something, okay? If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're selling either your lawyer or a accountant, or even if you're an entrepreneur, you're selling your thoughts, your ideas, your service, your excellence. You're selling, and you've got to be mindful. Even if you're a homemaker, you're selling your thoughts, your values on your children. A great preacher sells religion or a philosophy. You've got a great teacher sells education. Whatever it is, be focused on the fact that we are all selling an idea, a thought, or something. And so, when you sell a price, you're a commodity. When you sell a value, you're a resource. That's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
Next.
Well, we have the law of influence. And the law of influence says that your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Now, again, this sounds counterproductive at best and maybe even downright Pollyanna-ish at worst.
Say it one more time.
Your influence, the law of influence says that your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. And this simply means that, and hey, the great leaders, this is what they do. The great producers, the great salespeople, this is what they do. Now, Willie, when we say put other people's interests first, we don't mean to be a doormat, to be a martyr, to be self-sacrificial in any way. Not at all. It's simply that, as Joe learns in the story, the golden rule of business, the golden rule of sales says, all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people they know, like, and trust. And there's no more powerful, there's no faster, there's no more effective way to elicit those feelings toward you from others than by shifting your focus from yourself to them, going from an I focus or a me focus to an other focus. By not foregoing our self-interest, we're human beings, of course we're self-interested, but by temporarily suspending our self-interest and focusing on how to provide value to other people. And when we do this and we create this value with others, we plant these seeds of goodwill and great will that cause people to feel good about us, to know us, like us, trust us, want to see us succeed as well, and want to provide value to us. And we do this with a sense of non-attachment. We give not to get. We give to give. We give not because, it's a strategy. We give because it's who we are, and because it's who we are, it's what we do. But just look at the relationships that get created and the trust that gets created when you do that.
Wow, folks, it sounds like it's reversed, but it really is the secret to success. And if you've ever heard me speak, you'll hear me say that one of the secrets to great organizations is that you got to have a mindset to serve the customer, and that you've got to grow your people to be a mindset option in their minds to serve the customer. So great people give great service, good people give good service, mediocre people give mediocre service, and negative people give no service. And so what we want to do is help you to understand that as you get a mindset that is about serving others first, focusing on them first, then it changes everything. This is really powerful. So look, this is the kind of stuff that you want to get in your repertoire. You want to get some of Bob's books, The Go Giver. You want to go. You can get that anywhere, can't you, Bob?
Yeah, sure. You can get it at any any bookstores, usually major independents. You can get it on Amazon.com, and if they go to Burg.com, Burg.com, they can download Chapter 1 to see if they kind of like the story. And if they do, they can always click right through and order nice and conveniently.
Wow. Okay, folks, we got to take a quick station break because we want you to know where you're listening, who you're listening to. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick station break talking to you with Bob Burg, the one and only Bob Burg, best-selling author and world-class speaker. And we're going to tell you how to continue to grow through these 5 stratospheric success laws. Wow. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141, entertainment and information from Howard University.
And we're back. Now, we've been talking with Bob Burg. Let me get for those who might have just happened to just stumbled on this station perchance or running late. And for those who are first-timers or new, you should know that this show airs 3 times. That's how much we want to get these messages to you. On Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday evenings at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on Channel 141, HUR Voices. Now, we've got Bob Burg, and he is offered to go to his website. You get a free download of his chapter, and you can get more on the books, as well as other books there. He talked about the 5 laws of stratospheric success. Law number 1, the law of value. How much more you give in value than you get in payment. And then he talked about law number 2, which was the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people we serve. The more we serve, the more walking ambassadors we will have. And law number 3 is the law of influence. Your influence is determined on how you put other people's interests first, which leads to business and to people who will trust you because they know you're about helping them, and they will become your marketing tools. And you create value with others by providing trust and give them more value. You'll get more in the end run. And am I right, Bob?
Oh, I thought you did a beautiful job. That was great.
All right. So what's next?
Well, we have law number 4, which is the law of authenticity. And the law of authenticity simply says that the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. In the story, Deborah Davenport learned a very important lesson, and that is that all the skills in the world, the sales skills, technical skills, people skills, as important as they are, and indeed they are very, very important, they're all for naught if you don't come at it from your true, authentic core. Now, when you do, people respond to you. People respect people who they can tell are themselves, and they represent themselves correctly and authentically. On the other hand, when they get the feeling that someone's not really being themselves, but rather is being, I guess the Latin term would be a phonus balonus, then they're not as likely to respond to that person in a good way. Now, here's the thing, Willie, and this is what I truly believe, that a lot of times people who don't come across authentically, it's not that they're trying to be phony. I mean, every so often you've got someone like that, but not usually. I think a lot of times people just really don't understand the true value that they bring to the marketplace. And because they don't feel that they have that kind of value, they don't want to put themselves, front forward. And so I think the first thing is to understand that all of us have two types of value. We have intrinsic value that we're born with. Just by virtue of being here, we've got great value. As you said earlier, just have gratitude for being alive, because just by being alive, you've got value. Secondly, we all have market value. Now, each of us, we have our strengths and weaknesses. The key is to understand, acknowledge and shore up our weaknesses, but really focus on our strengths. Determine what those strengths are, whether it's yourself through introspection, whether it's having a coach, or what have you. But figure out the strengths, that the value you bring to the marketplace, and focus on that. The other thing is, what's great in this world today, there's so many people we can learn from. See, authenticity does not mean staying where you are and not improving. The person who says, well, I'm a mean, nasty person, I yell at people, I have anger issues, and if I was to act any other way, that wouldn't be authentic. That's baloney. What it means is this person authentically has a problem, and they need to work on it and become a better, more effective, more authentic person. So we can learn. We can read books. We can listen to CDs like yours. We can go to seminars. But here's the thing, and this is the great thing. See, we can. The sages asked, "Who is wise?" and answered, "That person who learns from all others." The key is that we can adapt the wisdom of other people, but we want to make sure we don't try to adopt their personality, because that's not going to work as well. See, I can learn from Willie Jolley. I can learn from Dondi Scumaci. I can learn from Les Brown, but I can't be Willie Jolley. I can't be Dondi Scumaci. I can't be Les Brown. I can only be the best Bob Burg that I can be. So we can learn from everybody, but we utilize their wisdom in our lives where appropriate, but we stay true to our own authentic core. So as I like to say, adapt, but don't adopt.
You know what, man? This is great stuff. And for those who've been listening, he hasn't listened to my show. He doesn't know that some people have recently said, on one of the guys said on my show, and I even wrote it on an interview not long ago in one of my blogs. I said, an older gentleman told me the secret to success was find your unfair advantage, and which is that which makes you different, your strength, and use it well. Focus on it. And I love this. Who is wise? That person learns from all other people. And that's what I know. Bob and I have learned from a lot of wise people in our lives. Nito Cobain and the people at NSA. It's just fantastic. That is incredible, and I just love this information because it's right on to helping you folks to grow, to become more successful, and to have greater success, and find a system that works for you for success. Not just a hit and miss, but have a system that will consistently bring you great returns on your time and your energy. Well, we've gotten through, I think, 4 of the 5, the law of authenticity, and let's get to number 5.
Yeah, number 5 is the law of receptivity. And the law of receptivity, Willie, simply says that the key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. Late in the story, the main mentor, Pindar, asks his protege, Joe, to breathe out and hold that breath to the count of 30. Well, Joe tries, but in 10, 11 seconds, he's gasping for air. He's struggling to breathe. Pindar says, "What's the matter, Joe? Can't do it?" And Joe says, "No, I can't just breathe out. I've got to breathe in." Well, Pindar jokingly says to him, "Well, what if I was to tell you that it's actually been medically proven that it's healthier to breathe out than it is to breathe in?" Joe laughs. He says, "That's impossible. You've got to do both. You've got to breathe out and breathe in." Exactly. See, we breathe out, we breathe in. We breathe out carbon dioxide, we breathe in oxygen. We breathe out, which is giving, we breathe in, which is receiving. Giving and receiving are simply two sides of the very same coin, and they work in tandem. And to try to focus on just one side of the equation and minimize the other, it's an exercise in futility, because all giving is made possible because it's also a receiving. All receiving is made possible because it's also a giving. And so you can be someone who gives and gives and gives. Again, when we say giving, we mean giving great value, and you can be giving. But it's all for naught if you're not making yourself available to receive. So see, the focus should be on the giving value. We focus on the giving. We need to allow ourselves to receive. And when we don't, there's usually a kind of a a challenge with that because it means that maybe we have an unhealthy relationship with money. Mm-hmm. Which is like an iceberg, right? It's below the surface. It's the unconscious or the subconscious.
Right.
And so,
That's fantastic. Now, look, folks, again, he hadn't heard us. We had a few weeks ago, Rick Edelman, who was on, and Rick Edelman said, that you've got to be open to receive money. And we talked about people who have a poverty mindset. And I had shared about a family member who was a preacher, but he believed that money was not good, and he had this mindset that money was not good. And so when he would go out and give a message, people would give him a check, and he'd say, "Oh my goodness, no, you keep it." But he had 5 children, 6 children. He had children he had to take care of, and was always having money problems because there was a mindset that there was a problem with money. Look, the Bible teaches us over and over again that money is a means to an end for you to make a difference.
Exactly.
And so this whole concept, people have been miseducated or have poor theology that money is the root of it all evil. No, it's the love of money, where you put money before your faith or your walk. But money is necessary. Money is a good thing. It's a great thing. It gives you an opportunity to have better health care, better education, better housing, where you're going to send your kids to school, what you're going to be able to do in your community. Money gives you options.
It gives you options, exactly. It's a means of exchange. I love what you said. It's a means to an end.
That's right. So we want you to start getting a positive, healthy mindset to money. And I've heard people say money is good. It comes to me because I appreciate it and I respect it and I don't put it in its wrong position. Man, this is big. This is some good stuff that Bob Burg is sharing with y'all. Folks, this is multi-million-dollar thinking kind of opportunity so that you can make a difference in your church, give a big old tithe check, that you can build a wing to a school, that you can be a part of the community and leave us a legacy that will impact years beyond. So what does this all this does? It helps you to grow your thinking. And wise people, I love this. I got to go back. Who is wise? That person who learns from all other people. That's why we got a Bob Burg here on the show, because he is one of the great teachers. He talks about influence. He talks about how you can be a go-giver and that you can have the mindset. I love this also, Bob, about the fact that it's tandem. It's it's in and out. Breathing is not just one way. It's both ways. It's giving out, but also you being open to receive and expecting good things to come your way because you're a blessing to others. This is good stuff. Man, I love this.
Well, you're one of the people I've been blessed to learn from for many, many, many years, Willie. And like you said, I think it was probably 20 years ago we met for the first time. But my gosh, you've been such a great example to so many of us in NSA, which of course National Speakers Association, and you've been one of my favorite people to learn from. So I just appreciate the value you've provided to so many people throughout the years.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Well, folks, we've got one more segment with Bob Burg. So continue to listen. I know you might be sitting in your car by the side of the road, Cat. You got a meeting, but you just can't leave. Well, you only got a short more time to listen. So keep on taking these notes. Keep on tweeting about it, telling people about it. You're listening to the Willie Jolley Show, Wealthy Ways Show here on Sirius XM Channel 141, HUR Voices. And for sure, the best is yet to come.
Life had enough ups and downs, but Lord, since I met you, all that's changed in the blink of an eye. Now all my heart wants to do.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for years I've told people that in order to have a greater life, it starts by having greater individual days. If you have a great day and you repeat that great day 7 times, you've had a great week. And you repeat that week 4 times, you've had a greater month. And then repeat that month 12 times, you've had a greater year, and you're on your way to a greater life. And it starts with that individual day. I recommend you start each day with something powerful. I call it the pure, the powerful, and the positive. Rather than starting your day with bad news, how many people got killed or how many children got snatched or how many fires there were, I recommend you start your day with something to inspire inspire and empower and encourage you to make this day a great day. We're excited to announce the start of Jolley TV on my Facebook page. Go to Willie Jolley, Willie.Jolley on Facebook. Just go to Willie.Jolley on Facebook and get ready for a great day and a great life. Have a great day on purpose.
Gotta have faith. Gotta have faith. Walk by faith. Talk by faith. Move by faith. And live by faith. You gotta have faith. Keep the faith. Keep the faith.
Ooh-wee. I am excited because I get pumped up on the music and the motivation and the information we get. I'm telling you folks, when I go through this process, I'm not just giving you this show, I'm getting as well. I listen to the music and the intros and outros, and for those who don't know, that's from my Money Making Music and Motivation message, and you can get that on my website. And then I get these great guests who just continue to inspire and empower and encourage me and help me to go and grow to the next level. And we got another one today, Bob Burg, the best-selling author and world-renowned speaker who is a Wall Street Journal business bestseller, a Business Week bestseller, books in multiple language, over 20 translations. And his fourth book is still selling hot as a firecracker. It's called The Go-Giver, and you can go on his website and get a chapter from that book as well as some of the other books. And he talked about the 5 stratospheric success laws, but we also want to talk about some ideas on your definition of success and how to get to success. And one quick thing, real quick, Bob, I want to ask you this before we get to the definition of success and so forth. You know, we've been in a economic downturn, and people have some have lost homes and cars and retirement funds, and down in Florida, a lot of real estate has been lost. But what do you tell people through these tough times? How to just get through? What do you tell your clients and even your friends and family members when they are struggling or come to you for advice? What do you tell them?
It's a great question, because it's not enough to just be motivational and say it's going to be okay. The fact is, sometimes you've got to commiserate and say, hey, I feel badly for you. It's a tough situation, and I don't think we do anybody any good by burying our head in the sand and saying it's not there. Mm-hmm. But I think we also then have to be solution-oriented, and we have to say, okay, what are your options? What can you do? In what ways can you provide value to the marketplace that is going to be able to earn you an income? What are the steps? And then I think what you do is you help them, and the best thing we can do is help them help them figure out just what they can do. As opposed to, what they can't do.
Ooh, that's folks. Now, Bob, you haven't read my book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, have you?
I have not yet. No, It's on my wish list.
All right, but let me tell you,
when I say wish list, I mean the book's on my list, not wish that I could get. I will get, but it's on my list of about 20 books right now that I need to get.
All right, now why I say that, folks? So he hasn't read that, but in that book, exactly what you got to be solution oriented. Yeah, you got to deal with the fact that you had what is you had a setback, but now that you know you got a setback, what do? You face it, you trace it, erase it, replace it. Be solution oriented. Give more ideas. Work on your plan. And maybe this is your opportunity to become the better, bigger, greater you. My success was a result of a setback. I lost my job. I was struggling, and my car was on its last legs. But it was on the fact that I had to come up with some new ideas. And sometimes that's the secret of your success. It's an idea, because I believe that when you don't have a money problem always, you got sometimes an idea problem. Mm-hmm. You just got to think of some new ideas. Or say, okay, I cook. Or, I maybe cook, cakes for my friends and family, but I've lost my job. Maybe you need to cook more. Maybe this is your way to start your catering company or your bakery company or your entrepreneurial company. This is your time. So many I have had who have come to my programs and seminars who said, I lost my job. And I say, well, what is it that you really wanted to do? And they tell me, I say, well, what's stopping you? And they say, well, I don't. maybe I should. And I've had many of them who've gone on to have successful businesses, who become, I know one who tripled his income in 1 year. He tripled his income in the first year after losing his job. So, is it going to be for everyone? But I tell you, it's possible. What Les Brown says over and over, it's possible.
That's right.
It's possible. And if it's possible for them, why not you? Okay, so I love that. Thank you for that, Bob. Now let's talk about definitions of success and how to help people get there.
Well, here's an interesting thing about success, Willie. Success is one of those terms that happens to be contextual in nature. In other words, its very substance changes depending upon the situation. For example, in a baseball game, one team wins, one team loses. The team that wins was successful in terms of the win. Now, the team that lost the game may have been successful in that it improved its performance from last time. They weren't successful in terms of the game's results, but they still were successful in terms of playing above their abilities. If you have a goal of losing 10 pounds within 3 months and you accomplish that goal, you were, by the nature of the thing, successful. Now, if you lost 9 pounds, you weren't successful in reaching the entire goal, but you were 90% successful. So those definitions have to do with the accomplishing of a desired goal. Now, one of the definitions I love, which kind of looks at another slant, was from, I know a man who was a hero of yours as well as mine, Earl Nightingale.
Absolutely.
His audio, Lead the Field, is when I first heard his definition of success, the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream or goal. So according to Mr. Nightingale, the very fact that you're on the path to something worthwhile would make you successful. The sages said, and I quoted them earlier about wise, and when I say the sages, I'm talking about the sages from the Talmud. They said, who is successful? And then they answered, that person who rejoices in their lot. They appreciate their family and their friends and their health and, the things you were talking about earlier about just being alive. I mean, that's also success. Christopher Morley wrote, there's only one success, to be able to live your life in your own way. Now, there's many definitions. I have another one. And to me, this is the one I utilize, and that's simply a feeling of peace of mind and genuine happiness based on having lived up to one's potential. So, no one definition is the all-encompassing one, but there are ways, and, of course, with success, that's more than just financial. I love what, when people say money isn't everything. I love what Zig Ziglar says. He says, money may not be everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen. But there's success in terms of financial, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, social, and I think as I've heard you say so often, Willie, that success principles transfer across the board.
Right. That's right. They do. They do. They absolutely do. So if you learn how to be successful at work, it can transfer at home, and vice versa. If you learn how to give better service at work, it can impact your marriage, your relationships, your friendships, and you start to impact people's lives at another level. And see, what we want to do is, and I know Bob has the same desire, mission that I have, to make a difference and make a profit, and do it in both of them in big ways. To make a big difference, worldwide difference, and globally impact people's lives, and also make a big profit so that we can protect and take care of our families as well as our futures. Because one day we're going to get older, we're not going to have the same energy. T.D. Jakes says you got to work hard right now, because one day you're not going to have the same energy. So you got to go with it what you got now. And I don't fool around or waste time, because it's so precious. And so we got to be successful. I like that, a feeling of peace of mind and happiness, having lived up to one's potential. My goodness, I love that. Well, Bob, what do you tell, if you were in a class of young entrepreneurs, you've been an entrepreneur, you've had to start a business, you had to step away from the crowd what would you tell them? Here are the secrets to success and becoming a successful entrepreneur.
Well, I think in a sense and it sort of has to do with what I call the success formula. I'm not sure really if it's a formula. It's kind of 3 principles within 2 concepts. The first is have a desire that you are just willing to go after and fight for. I mean, just kind of really crystallize it, know what it is you want to do, what is your dream, what is your goal, what is it you desire. Then the first thing is to, seek out and find the information, learn how to do it. If it's something you want to do, it's already been done by someone and they've put it in a book or CDs or they're teaching it or whatever. In other words, it goes back to find the system. Don't try to reinvent a wheel that's already been invented. Now, that doesn't mean not to be creative, but it means that what you do is you build on the fundamentals. And that's so important. The next step is simply apply the information immediately. Once you know what it is you need to do, apply it. Don't wait till all the lights turn green, because they ain't going to turn green at the same time, and you'll be stuck there forever waiting.
Right.
So just apply it. I think Zig Ziglar it was who said anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you learn how to do it well, which doesn't mean to be sloppy or haphazard. It just means you got to go after it. You're going to improve by doing it. Next, be persistent. Outlast the no's. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. And just because failure is a part of success, and as long as we're out there, doing it, we're going to get knocked in our rear ends, and that's okay as long as we're willing to get back up. And then I think the final part is belief. It's believing so much in what you're doing, believing in your mission, believing in what you're out there to accomplish, that you're going to take those knocks and you're going to come back and you're just going to keep going until it happens. And I think any entrepreneur who has that is going to be unstoppable and unbeatable.
Man, I love this. Man, this is like gold, folks. This is gold. And we've had it for the last hour. We've had gold. Bob, one last time, where can people reach you?
They can go to my website at Burg, which is BURG.com. Download first chapter of a few of my books. Connect with me on social media. Go to my blog and just kind of hang out and have a good time for a while.
Man, I cannot thank you enough. You've given us a worldwide view of success, and you are just a gentleman and a scholar, and I am grateful to be able to call you my friend.
I'll tell you what, I'm grateful, my brother, and thank you so much for having me on. This has been a big thrill for me.
Well, thank you. God bless you and keep you and your family, and much success. Again, folks, Bob Burg, go to his website. Go to williejolley.com. Go to bobburg.com. Get our books, our videos, our audios. Join our newsletters. These are freebies that we now offer people that we used to charge people. Go absolutely free. Get our blogs. Go to our Facebook pages. But get this stuff and get going on your dreams. We want you to have success. Have a great week on purpose, and remember that I love you and nothing you can do about it. God bless you, and remember your best is yet to come. Have a great week.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My mind. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, think again, 'cause I'm telling you it don't. The fact
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs, because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it, because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friends said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and will help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.